Okay, hi, everybody. It is April Fools and it's no joke. On April 1st here, we got a nice crowd and the weather today is a little dicey here in Green Valley. So anyway, we've got some videos to share. And let's start with Diane. You got a video. This was from your field trip down to what's the name of the place?
Rancho de Losa.
Thank you. Why don't you tell us about the field trip a little bit and then tell us about that place and what your video is about.
Okay. So we went down to Sassabee and there's a little ranch. I got pretty much it. There's a ranch there, Rancho de Losa, which has a lot of history. A lot of Hollywood stars who stayed there. John Wayne stayed there. There's actually a room that he stayed at all the time that's still being used. Pancho Villa stayed there. LBJ stayed there and he flew his horse by plane. So he could ride his horse while he was there.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a very cool place, very rustic, but well maintained. Food was excellent. They have all kinds of activities. They have shooting and horseback riding and all kinds of things. And
All right.
this is my video about our little visit there.
Okay, let's check it out. Okay. What do we think of that?
Diane, the music was phenomenal. It fit perfect.
Yeah, the music was great.
I think you should send it to them, maybe they'll buy it from you. No, I'm serious.
Or show it,
Yeah.
show it in the lobby.
Yeah, very nice.
Also, the way you were doing your zooming or whatever, it felt like video clips in a way, rather than still photographs, the way you're moving around.
Yeah.
I like the way it did the titles,
Same here.
and you can still look
Yeah,
through
The
them.
transparent, like.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
done very nicely.
You can thank Kevin for that.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
well, he had sent me an early version of or I should say an early version, but a first version. And the text was just on the screen, but it was kind of clunky. There's the thing that I love about this video is there's such a neat mood to it, and it brings you into a very calm place. And the text was kind of bold and clunky, and it just didn't look good. Well, so then we started looking at, since Diane does this on iMovie, there's limitations as to the things that you can do and stuff. And so what we tried to do, I tried to look through some of the different possible ways that she could present the text. And this was the best choice of the options. So one thing that she and I have talked about a little bit, which is interesting, she's starting to find out I'm getting better than iMovie. I need to step up to a DaVinci or Final Cut Pro or something. So I have more options with the way that I present things. So that to me is very encouraging to see that people are saying, hey, maybe I'm on some PC software that's a little basic. I need to go to DaVinci. I need to be a little bit more involved. And so anyway, I think it was a nice option. Is it perfect? No, but for meaning if I had the flexibility to do it in Final Cut and we could design some text or a box for the text, but with the limitations of iMovie, I'd say, well done.
Yeah, for sure. Great.
Yes, sir.
So can you adjust the amount of opacity on that bottom?
Nope.
No.
No, it will not. That's one of the limitations. If I was gonna create something in Final Cut, I could change the opacity, whatever I wanted it to be, and I would actually, if I could, I'd knock that back at least in half, the opacity of that box.
Yeah.
To see the photos a little better.
That's just
It's,
one of the boxes that you can put type in.
yeah, there was another one that we were gonna try. And, I can't remember what,
It had a white background.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, the thing that, another version that she had done, there was one that I thought was gonna be great. It had a maybe 2/3 of the box was over at the bottom on the image, so you saw on either side. Well, there was 2 places to put text, well, you can't move the text up or down, so it was either too high in the box or too low in the box, it didn't look good.
Big, 'cause the first
Yeah.
line was bigger than the second line.
Yeah, so anyway, I think this was a good solution and, again, for the limitations. And as we were talking about earlier, Sharon and I, we were talking about this with DaVinci, and she's starting to use DaVinci more, and we've got Royce is using DaVinci. No, you're not using, which one are you using?
Tamora, which nobody else here.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we're starting to get more people that are saying, my software isn't doing what I want. Todd Taylor is probably one of our DaVinci experts now. And he's talking about possibly helping teach a class next fall.
Yeah.
It's getting people started on DaVinci, so. What do you think of the photography? in this piece?
Very
Right, very nice.
The detail was incredible. There's a scene in there where you can see all the wood grain and the painted door. I mean, in detail, some beautiful stuff there.
Oh,
With
I
your
would
phone,
agree.
your photography with your phone, Diane?
No, I use a mirrorless Nikon Beacon.
Okay.
Yeah,
SLR.
yeah, the colors,
Going back to the fonts,
yeah,
I would recommend everybody start collecting their own library of fonts.
well, the only problem is you can't insert
So
in iMovie.
there's already.
You can't go outside of their parameters, so you have to use what they have. Now, when you're outside of them using Premiere or Final Cut or DaVinci, you can start doing that, and I would agree, that's a great idea.
But even in iMovie, it's clever to have a file that shows what's available printed out.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So you can see what it looks like.
You know, I usually, just as a quick goodie, when I'm doing something like that, I need to see it on the screen.
Well, I
See if I like it or
meant
not.
print it out on screen. Have a
Oh.
full, a file
Okay,
that shows what they are.
okay, I see what you're
My
saying.
movie has that
They
app,
don't
essentially, if
do
you go to choose your font,
Yeah,
and you click on it.
Right.
it drops down.
It shows, yeah, it just drops down and shows you all the various options.
Yeah, sure.
And
Sure.
Da Vinci, when you have a title up there and you click on your font box that you want, probably, I would say at least 60 options are there. But as you touch each one, it changes it on the screen to whatever it is. That was really helpful to me.
Yeah,
It gives you an instant preview.
yeah,
Yeah.
which is great. It just makes your life a lot easier. Okay, does anybody have anything else on that?
I noticed the Kevin May effect on that one,
Which one's that?
the vignette around it.
No, that's just for, do you do any Photoshop on these or you?
No, you had the vignette though, didn't you?
Yeah, you added some vignette, or when you were doing
Yeah, the
your
one that
contrast.
you gave us.
Oh, is it? Okay, I didn't, or you know why? Cause, long story short, you can only have 2 levels of video in iMovie. So,
Oh.
I didn't even realize that. There's a vignette that I can send out and you basically pop it in on your video and it gives a darkened edge, it brings the focus to. Good eye, Royce. See, I was so mesmerized by the pictures and the music, I didn't even see that.
So you're just saying you noticed the vignette, okay.
And do you like that? He doesn't. I was trying to think of a nice way to say, no, I don't like it, it sucks.
It's an artistic choice and,
Yes,
and for this was very artistic, so it seemed appropriate.
okay. That was very diplomatic, I like that. I was like, oh, I was about ready to step in the pile of poo and I didn't step.
Notice how he backed.
I saw that.
So well.
Diplomat.
He's gonna run for office.
He might. Okay.
Did it take more than 3 hours to do that? No, I'm just kidding.
How many hours did that take you to put together, short of the text thing at the end, that we dicked around with?
It took me a long time. I don't know, I got frustrated with that one and it just wasn't working and then the text thing, going back, changing that a couple of times and I don't know, it was, that one was a little bit more of a struggle than.
Okay.
The other ones are
How about picking the music? How many choices did you go through?
Not that many, no. Cause I knew what I wanted.
Yeah.
That was, the music was just perfect. You know, it was- Absolutely, it just helps set the mood. Unbelievable. Okay, does anybody have anything else on that? All right, well, Royce has got a video. Did you use the vignette, Royce, on this? No, he's like, no, I did not.
Oh my.
Tell us about your video, Royce.
This is my favorite, actor, my grandson, and we do the last couple of years now, we do a birthday shopping day. Instead of me guessing what he wants, we just go to the store and buy what he wants.
Nice.
And so part of the day was, I wanna go see the trains, you know, he instigated it. And so I got online, okay, when's Amtrak coming in? Cause we have mainline, you know, so. Found out when it was coming in, so we timed it, got down there, got there early and watched the Amtrak train come in and. So I shot a video of him interacting with what was going on with the Amtrak, and we noticed that there was another train that was waiting, so we waited around and we shot this, so anyway, this is part 1 of the day that we spent. Then we went and had lunch, then we went shopping, then we went home, and he told me never to show this to his grandmother. His video.
Oh, boy.
And you'll see why.
Well, let's check it out.
intimidating coming right at you.
All right.
Don't show it to grandma.
What do we think of that?
Great. Vignette though.
She said you should.
Gonna continue to go downtown and have lunch and look for presents.
Part two.
Oh, yeah.
Is there going to be a part two?
No, not that one, no.
Oh, okay.
I cut a lot out. I mean, I took a lot more video than that, but I'm telling the story of him with the actor with the train, because he's a star of the show. So.
Sure.
But when I was shooting the video, I was like so focused on the train and trying to keep him in the frame, and I didn't even see him. And then I got back and looked at the, oh wow, he's really dancing. So this is the show. So he's really moving his arms and doing all that stuff. So it's like, okay, let's focus on that.
Nice.
I liked all the graffiti background on the trains. As, cause you probably had a lot of choices.
Yeah,
Of
more
what
about
to use,
that.
but I liked that.
Yeah. And then I also, when I was watching the video, I go, oh man, he was really close to. And I go, if I know that when I was doing it, I might not have let him get that close, cause it was like he was, it appeared closer than he was, but he was close enough.
Yeah.
And, I go, I don't know how his mom was gonna react to this. And when we were going back, he was saying, but don't show this to my grandma. Don't give her a link to it or anything like that. He's got two grandmas, my wife and the other one is very safety, all on top of it. And I know he's very safety conscious too because of him, of her. And so it's like, well, he was there, but that's why I have with no fear. Anyway.
Yeah, it's an example of something we don't do often, but is incredibly valuable. That's a souvenir video. Literally, I don't know a way to describe it. It's, 25 years from now, he'll be showing his kids.
Yes. Yeah. I would agree. A day in the life kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
What did you think of the music?
I like it.
Yeah.
I did too.
Yeah.
Really gave a nice feel. Yeah.
I thought adding the text to match the voice is a great idea.
Yeah.
Well, certainly with
With all the noise.
with all the noise with the
Yeah.
train, you couldn't hear all of what he was saying.
That was super.
Now, the one thing that I would love to have seen you done or do at the very end, the music was out and then you had those last two screens. I would love to have seen the music, the song may have ended, meaning that you didn't fade it down, but did anybody else notice that? It's kind of like when I hear the music go down, I think the show is over, kind of a thing. Did you think about that or didn't
No,
really?
I was trying to put the whistle in somewhere that made sense.
Yeah.
So the horn, not the whistle.
The horn was great. I love the horn at the end there honking, but I would love to have heard the music underneath fade down, so I kind of know, okay,
Yeah, I had extended music too, so I could pick any time I wanted to end the music.
oh, okay.
Cause I blended it in, made it longer, but,
Try that and just see. I think it just might give it that little finality that, okay, it's done kind of a thing. Yeah, it's like, okay, I'm getting my audio, I'm getting that, I love the beat and the music. And then it's kind of going down and now here's a shot of you and him, some text, and then there's the disclaimer at the end. And it's like, God, I wish there was still that music there.
and last week I used as a sample for the music.
Oh, the music,
Yeah, I put 30 seconds of each, and I had 3 different pieces of the music, and this was the only myself and Phil like this particular piece of music.
Oh,
I
really?
liked a different piece of music. So interesting.
I think it worked well with the piece, it had nice energy. You know, and especially too, when you think of the train moving and stuff, and to have that beat music.
I did a search around train clicking,
Okay,
like that, and they kind of came up with some different options.
okay,
Now, did you use all the music that was available?
I mean, the whole piece itself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
do you loop it?
I looped it.
Okay.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just something to think about. It just, I think it would just take it over the top, but I really like it. I was laughing when I saw it, it's like, this is funny, and all the hand movements and stuff.
A little twist.
Yeah, him dancing around, and it's like that, you're right, that was the story. So, okay, does anybody have anything else on that?
I thought, he was kind of saying what I was thinking in a way. Like I'd be thinking, oh, no, and then he'd say something like that. So that was interesting.
The train's going slow and
Yeah.
whatever else, like, come on, let's go, I'm ready. Yeah, all right, Royce, nice job. Diane, you've got one more video, we might as well share that, or do you want me to save it? Doesn't matter, let's show it.
Okay.
You're banging out these videos so good. Okay, tell us about this video, what have you got?
Okay, this is part of the same field trip to Rancho de la Oso. This is the Sassabee part of it, where we went into the little town, into the general store, and then went down to the border and saw the wall.
Okay, let's check it out. All right. All right, what do we think of that one?
I think it definitely gives you the feel of Sassy. You know. It just, that's it, it's captured that feeling.
There's not a lot there.
No.
No,
And to think that you got so much out of that is amazing to me. If you've ever been to Sassabee, you know there's not a lot there. What do you think of,
building where you cross, that's funny.
what do you think of the music in that? Did you like that?
Western.
And what do you think of the imagery that she got?
Good.
I love the phone booth shot, or the payphone shot. You know, that's something that if we show that to a 20-something, they would say, what is that thing?
You're kidding, my granddaughters who are teenagers, I was thumbing through the Dish Network and there's this TV show that's got all these old time movies on.
Oh, yeah.
We stopped for a minute and I was watching, I went on, one of them elbows me, she said, Grandpa, how come they keep going to the wall and talking that thing on a roll?
Really?
But they- She had never seen a corded.
Wow.
Watching that thing on a road.
Isn't that amazing? Think about it. To us, it's old hat, but to somebody that's 15 or 20, they have no idea.
Just to measure how old we are.
That's true. Now, how was this piece to put together? Was this a little easier than the
Yeah,
other
it was
one?
really easy. It just went right together. I did it in a day and a half.
Okay,
And the music was a little harder. I couldn't find the right keywords to put in to bring up what I wanted. And I was scrolling through what came up and it said outlaw country. And I'm like, that's what I'm looking for. So I
Okay.
clicked on it and that was good.
okay.
I like the pacing of the imagery too. It fit the tempo of the music and gave you enough time to like read the T-shirts. So that
Yes.
you
Yeah.
jump through. No, it was just perfect. You could read all three of them.
Yeah.
Just the right amount of.
Yeah, the one where the hell it's Sassabee, I love that.
As it
Was great.
as it panned out, then you got the hats and the boots on top of the T-shirts. It was really well done.
Nice.
How many photos total in your video?
In that video, how many videos do you have? Or how many still photos? Like 30 maybe?
Yeah, or less.
Okay.
Maybe around 28 or something.
Okay. A good rule of thumb, depends on the speed and how fast you're showing something, but 8 to 10 a minute is a good ballpark, and then you can adjust accordingly. You might have, especially, let's say if you have a bunch of horizontal shots, you're fine, but you might with a vertical, if you're gonna show the whole vertical, you don't, in 6 seconds or 8 seconds, it's not enough. That might need to be 20, or not 20, 12 seconds, let's say, so that it maintains some of that smoothness. Otherwise, it's gonna go super fast. But I always tell people, you can be in the 8 to 10 range per minute. That's a good starting point, and then you figure out too with your music. Maybe you found the perfect song, but it's only 3 minutes. Okay, well now I gotta prune a little bit, so sometimes that's hard to do as well. Yes, sir.
So you want to time your transition or the length of each shot to kind of relate to the timing of the music. In other words, if your music is slower, you let it last a little longer. If your music's faster paced, you short.
Yeah, certainly if there's a lot of that, well, like, that's right, Royce's was such a good example of. If he had picked something slow like what Diane had, it would have been like, oh my God, but the train's moving and that music is upbeat. So I think that's a great example between the two.
Sure, yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay. Does anybody have anything else on that? All right, well, we got one more video to show today. And this is my video. This, a couple weeks ago, this is Danny's Camino de Santiago video that we will be showing at the social dinner a week from tonight. And this is the closing part of this video. And so kind of what he's doing is he's reflecting on his trip and the journey, and then also some of his thoughts. And I found this to be very poignant in the sense that to me, it's kind of like he's analyzing his life almost. So anyway, this is the close for the video. And I will tell you that the entire video is all done. 51 minutes.
Wow.
This is the biggest project I've ever worked on. But I also think it's really compelling, and I showed it to my video mentor who helped me get started shooting video. And he wrote back and said, really, really love where this is going. And every day I was waiting for the next day to see what Danny's gonna say. So anyway, this is the close.
My thoughts after finishing the Camino were varied. I was so glad our daughter Maritza was able to join me. Even though she did not begin her walk in France, we had some great moments together, and I learned so much about her, especially how well she spoke and understood Spanish. I cherish walking the final day to Santiago together. That was special. I was proud that I had walked the full route, carrying my backpack every step of the way. I thought, now what? What's my next challenge? After arriving home, I was a bit disoriented and a bit sad. For a few nights, I would wake up wondering, which way is the bathroom? Only to realize I was home. In the morning, I would look for clothes to wear, unable to make up my mind what to wear that day. I thought of the 3 sets of clothes I wore for a month, washing 2 sets every other day. Mornings on the Camino, I would be out the door in 30 minutes or less. My pack would be ready the night before. I would wash, many times getting dressed in the dark so as not to wake others. I was so organized when walking the Camino, not so much at home. On the Camino, there was only one task to accomplish each day, one clear goal: to get to the next destination. I walked an average of 16 miles a day, leaving as early as possible to get to my next destination early enough to make sure I secured a bed for the night. At home, I had a bed every night. I find that walking 3 miles a day at home is not a challenge. On the Camino, I accepted the challenges of each day, the grind during the first week, the discomfort of my right knee, not realizing I was walking on a torn meniscus, the challenge of steep terrain, wet or rocky trails, the thunder and lightning while walking in the dark on an early morning start. The dogs challenged me out in the middle of nowhere, not always encountering a place to eat when I was hungry, and changes in the weather. As I passed crosses or memorials of peregrinos who died while walking, I hoped that fate would not await me. I will always remember the friends I met along the way, wishing I would have taken pictures of all of them, especially my friend from Poland. We stayed in many of the same albergues and ate at many of the same restaurants. We met the final time on my last day in Santiago. He also received his Compostela, and we said goodbye, knowing we would never meet again. I never asked his name. I just called him Poland. He never asked my name. He just called me USA. I will always remember my discussions when meeting peregrinos from different countries and their many different accents. When we passed each other on the trail or when leaving in the morning, we'd always wish each other a buen camino. At home, I mutter under my breath when I see someone ambling too slowly in front of me. On the Camino, I would ask if they were okay, that they need help, and I always wish them a buen camino. I wonder if I am able to reboot myself to be the person I was on the Camino. Am I now more willing to let random thoughts rattle around my head, more willing to let go of hurts, to hang on to joy? I try to move away from being a person in control, or so I think, to one who is waiting for a surprise. Will it rain? Will it be hot? Will I fall and hurt myself? Who will I meet today? Will I walk further or faster than yesterday? Why can't the many different cultures, beliefs, languages, and people get along at home like we did on the Camino? I sometimes think the best version of all of us was on that trip. I miss the Camino. I hope those around me see a positive change in me. Only time will tell. I hope my wife Becky, our son Miguel, and our daughter Stacy walk that path someday. I know it will expand their hearts as it has mine. They too may find the most patient version, the very best version of themselves, just as I believe I have done. If I have walked all those miles for that, it would be enough. Should you ever get the opportunity to walk the Camino, I wish you a buen camino.
That's amazing.
There you go. All right.
Makes me feel inadequate. I complain about walking across the park.
What do you think of that?
That's incredibly well done. I like the use of black and white.
That was something that I wanted to do at the end because the rest, everything else is in color. And as a photographer, when you really want somebody to look at an image, I mean, really look at it, black and white is the way to go. People get wrapped up in the colors and their mind sees other things. Well, in black and white, you just look at the image and the composition and the subject and everything else. And I thought that was just a nice way to kind of end it as he's giving us his soliloquy, I can't say that word, at the end. But it really does, I think, wrap up his journey and his thoughts. And so anyway, I think it's gonna be a really nice video when it's all said and done. And
Was he talking for notes or was he?
yeah, he's in this part, in the open and the close, he's reading. That's why you don't see him on camera.
Okay.
The thing that blew me away, which was great as we were shooting it, at the very end, when he's reading that last part, he says, if you ever get the opportunity to walk on the Camino, I wish you a buen Camino. And he looked up at Todd just at that time. And I'm like, oh my God, this is the way to end this. This is great. Very heartfelt. Now, when he does the stuff in the middle of this, which is most of the video, when we didn't have him talking about each day, because oh my God, it would be hours and hours of video, but for some of the days where he's not talking, we have 3 or 4 pictures at most, just kind of giving you a flavor of the day. And so anyway, for the days that he is talking, we do incorporate some of his photos and stuff, but he's doing that all off the cuff. So when you see the video, it's not like he's reading notes talking about the day, it's still all up here in his head. And the other thing that I told my video buddy, I said, he's a great storyteller. It really, his pacing, how he talks, and then what he's saying or the details he gives in the video, you'll see him at times kind of smiling and laughing, or if something was very emotional, you could see it in his face when he's on camera. And so it's very powerful, I think. So, and then the other thing we'll do is we'll put it up on the club's YouTube page next Monday after the social, so people can see it. Obviously, our snowbirds that are leaving or those who aren't coming to the social can see it. So anyway,
Good job.
thanks. Well,
Beautiful.
it's Danny. It really is Danny. If Danny was boring, it'd be horrible. There's no way, and there's no way it would be that long.
Yeah.
But you sit there and as I was editing this, and he's talking about each day. Or the days that I think I mentioned this before. He and I sat in here for about 3 hours one day, went over all the days. And I'm taking notes about things that I think are important. And so as we're interviewing him, I said, okay, let's talk about day 4, when this happened. And so then he just started talking about it. And so anyway, his storytelling is just fabulous.
Did he do like a journal or diary?
He
So that
did.
That's how he remembered each day.
Yeah, but he didn't, he literally because I would give him the subject, like, okay, he talks in there about, he had an issue with some dogs out in the thing. And so he, basically, I said, okay, tell me about the day you saw the dogs. And here you go, and so we rolled. The other thing that was really huge during this, I had Todd Taylor, I talked about this a couple weeks ago. Todd is sitting there and Danny's talking to Todd. And Todd was great because normally, like if you're talking and we're telling a story, you might say, oh yeah, or, you know, whatever. Well, Todd didn't do any of that. He just kind of nodded his head and you could see that when things were funny, Todd was smiling. And that made Danny smile a little bit. When things started to get emotional, you could see it in Todd's face. And Danny even told me later that he fed off of Todd and what he was seeing Todd. So I think that's what also helped make this more powerful. So anyway, we'll share it next, I'm not gonna share it as the multimedia thing, because it's too long. Like, or just, it's 50 minutes, like I said. But we will have it on the club's YouTube page, and Danny's gonna be doing it at some travel. The travel club, he's gonna show it there. Yeah, Diane.
What really stuck out to me was when he said, when he got home, you know, he didn't know where the bathroom was. And something similar to that happened to me after I came back from India.
Yeah,
And that's when you know you've really been transformed by something.
well, I would agree.
Yeah.
Well, and just quickly too, and I would say, when you think about it, he's talking about, you know, he opens up his closet and he's got all these clothes. Well, there's only the set you're wearing and 2 other sets of clothes each day, or, you know, in your pack, that's it. Well, you don't have a lot of choices. You don't think about all that stuff. So, yeah. Yes, Jim.
I maybe would have liked to have seen a little bit more of the environment or pathway of the area that he's walking through. Most of
Yeah.
the shots were of him and there wasn't much of where he's going or.
You'll
Yeah.
see that in the video. And I really wanted this last bit to be just about him. Like the first part, he talks about his daughter and him walking a little bit. And so I wanted to show those two. And then really it's him. Cause it's Danny's story. So I didn't want it. Trust me, when you see the whole video, you're gonna get to see all kinds of shots that he did. Places and he's talking about something. There was a day that it rained all day. And he's got some rain shots in there and stuff, so, you know.
Did the idea or thought come up about interviewing his daughter about her reaction?
You know, it would be interesting to do that. Because of the time frame of doing this,
Yeah, I just,
and I don't know where she lives. She's not here, so
yeah, I just,
it would be, I mean, I think
for
this.
him.
Well, for him, it would be great to get some of her thoughts too. And I think the one thing that, just quickly for me, that's interesting about this, you've seen my videos before. They're 3-4 minutes long. I don't ever make anything super, super long. Well, this was so different because of Danny that it's longer, but it also makes you think, just like you said. Boy, wouldn't it have been great to interview, you know, like his daughter and incorporate some of that in this, if time allowed and, you know, if the availability allowed.
Now, when you say it's 51 minutes, how, did you use it as one file? And I was topical with it. As one file, you edited the whole thing of one thing, or did you split it up?
I had split it up.
Okay.
The project size is 1.7 terabytes. It's a huge project. And the issue that I had was my big computer at the house started to bog down on it. I started to have issues with it crashing the program, so I had to split it, and then I started running it off this laptop, which is even faster, but than the big computer. But the problem is, I started to run out of RAM on this. I got 96 gig of RAM, but not enough. So anyway, I split it into a first half and a second half.
I tend to do mine in units all the time. In other words, I look at it and I say, well, this particular section all goes together, it's unit 1.
Yeah.
And I work on that. And then when I'm all done, I can go back and put the units together.
Sure.
And do the final export, and it tends not to.
Yeah.
To kill my cheap computer, you know, it works better.
Well, I would agree. Well, and I did a first half and a second half, and I can show you after we're done. Yeah, Lynn.
Danny asked me to tell the group that there are 2 spaces left.
Oh, good.
The meeting ends.
Well, that's good.
Today is the day
That's
to,
good.
today is the day to, they gotta get the numbers in. It's $30. You pick your dinner. And, that's good to know. Thank you for that.
What was fascinating to me is if you didn't know Colin's name as a woman. My
Yeah.
husband does that to me all the time. He'll come home and say something. I said, well, did you ask that? No. Well, did you ask that? No.
Yes.
And I would have known his name. I would have had the picture.
Well, sure.
Yeah, that's so, I think it's a guy thing. You guys just,
No, I think it's the trip. It doesn't matter.
maybe you're right, yeah.
Well,
But I
think
still, I still.
it is a guy.
I would have interacted.
Me too.
Well, and they interacted a bunch. It's just that they never happened, but it was interesting though.
Yeah.
He had told me later that there was a number of people that he met that he didn't get shots of.
Mhm.
And looking back on it, wish that he did, whether it was just a shot of that person or them together.
And for me, as I get older, when I do a little trip now, it's almost a little more important part of it, instead of seeing the scenery, to see who I can meet or talk to for a short time and find out a little bit about their background.
Sure.
So it's more, adds more flavor, it's more interesting, it enhances just the whole experience of travel.
Sure. Yeah. Yes.
I have a real interesting thing for Gwen and I. We met actually one day on a cruise ship up in Alaska in 2007.
Get out of here.
And we went on a photography whale watching thing and we took a few pictures. They teamed us up because everybody was couples except Gwen and I were by ourselves. So they put us as a couple. We spent that afternoon together and then we kind of got each other's emails because I wanted her to send me some pictures. We did not lay eyes on each other again until last year here in Green Valley.
Wow.
2007.
Did you remember her and did you remember her?
Well, we had, social media wasn't in
Once-
07, so when social media came along, we kind of became friends on Facebook and I was watching her travels, but was never really, and then a year ago, she put her picture of Green Valley. And I was like, I messaged her, probably says, what the heck? I said, we're gonna be there in January, and then we bought a house here this last year, and we're like, so we
Yeah.
connected last year. It was the craziest thing.
That is bizarre.
Yeah, they're bizarre.
So the pictures of Danny, were those that he got from other, or was he setting up selfies?
As far as I know, he ended up, he would give his camera to somebody, like some of those shots where it's just him. He didn't use a phone. He had like a little point and shoot camera. So this is the first half of the video in Final Cut. So you can see there's Danny down here. I've got my masks my favorite vignettes and my masks that I'm using. Here's some of the photos.
Wow.
Throughout, and then the purple is text. So anyway, you can see, I don't know, Royce was asking me earlier, I'm well over 100 hours on editing this. So it's like
Oh, I'm
big
sure.
project. Yes, sir.
Oh, excuse me,
We'll
up
be
there. Up there, you're showing the photos in color. Is there a way to take the whole thing that you're showing and displaying and changing it to black and white as one? As
Sure.
opposed to each individual photo?
Yeah, you can go in and, here's a shot of his dog. I basically have just gone in and I dropped the color. I go in, if I wanted to drop the color on her, I would just go up to, up here, saturation. And I just pull all the color out.
He's asking if you could do the whole thing all in one shot.
One,
Oh, that I wouldn't pull out
the
all the
whole
color?
show, bang, all black and white.
I could, if I highlighted all of it. The thing to me that, as I'm thinking about this piece, I do want to see the colors of the trip. But then at the end, I want that black and white, because I really want you to listen to his words. And it's not like the pictures are up for 5 seconds, they're up for 10, 15, 20 seconds in some cases at the end there. The other goodie is, also didn't have a lot to work with. I pretty much used all the photos of Danny that I had in that last bit. So it's not like there was a ton of content.
So how'd you pick the music?
The one thing that I did, and I'll show you real quick, when Danny's talking, I went with like an acoustic piano or guitar, so that it doesn't fight with him. And then on the days where he's not, like, here's one, I go more upbeat for the days where he's not, talking. And so then what I did is when we come from a day where he's, like, here's the end of it, a day where he's, there's just pictures and that's gonna be him talking. I gave it 2 seconds between, and then I bring up the music.
How many different pieces of music did you use approximately? Different.
There's probably 25 pieces in this. So anyway, you're looking for something that's, especially if somebody's talking, I don't want there to be vocals. Something that's light, that just, it's there, but yet it doesn't get in the way. So,
Was it a major task for you to figure out the music or with all your?
yes, it was a major task.
Okay.
It just, I think the biggest challenge was it was easy finding the acoustic piano and the guitar for him talking on those days. But saying, okay, now what music am I going to put in for when it's not Danny talking, it's just the imagery. And then just trying to decide, okay, does this work or not?
Yeah, it's such a long piece, you got so many.
Well,
You have continuity or what if you don't have continuity?
there's all at the bottom here.
The continuity is Danny's voice is what.
Well, yeah, but the continuity too is, this is all the music down here. So it's hard. It's really hard. I'm used to 4 minutes. One song, 4 minutes, that's it.
Yeah.
So to think, okay, I gotta fill this and find music that I think is appropriate. That's why this was a 100-hour plus project. Yes, sir.
Did you use Audacity for the narrative or did you inject it directly?
No, I don't use Audacity. This goes right into Final Cut, and then I just mix everything there.
Got it.
So the other goodie you can see too is,
Do you do any processing on his voice to enhance it at all?
nope,
Okay.
I just run it straight.
You didn't need to in this case because.
Yeah. He's so good and everything is really close, but you can see where I'm cutting it. All these little cuts, and this is actually when I did the final mix down on his audio, because there's times where he's talking louder or not. So, I mean, just doing that, I don't even, it was probably 5 or 6 hours on the final mix down, just on his audio to get that right. So, anyway, we'll see what happens on Monday night. If everybody leaves after dinner and we turn the lights on and there's 3 of us, well, then that's the way it goes.
I think it'll be nice.
But I think people are gonna like it, and when you hear his stories, to me, it's very riveting. Yes, Doug?
It's probably a stupid comment here, but would you consider an intermission for somebody to go pee?
We're gonna do that beforehand. After dinner, the game plan is to say, okay, we got 10 minutes. We got 10 minutes and then we're going to.
It's not gone with the wind.
Well, it's also, it's not that it's a 3-hour movie.
Some people might have to leave for.
Well, and the other thing too is though, that's okay. If somebody starts watching it and they don't like it and they leave, I'm not gonna be upset. And if they have to get up and go to the bathroom, then they get up and go to the bathroom, whatever.
I think he's worried about missing.
I could say, stop it, Kevin, I have to go out for.
Well, I want you to do this after dinner, Doug. I want you to pee. And then you'll be all set with the entire video.
Well, I'll be
Yeah, it's
watching.
not this working.
Come here, young man. Come up here real quick. Come here, come here. Just come up here.
I had nothing to do with it.
Well, all I'm gonna say is, I showed them the clothes. So they saw the open a couple of weeks ago, they saw the clothes, they haven't seen the middle. I said, that's when the good stuff happens. But I told them that you are so good on camera. Well, he's very compelling and he's a great storyteller.
Yeah.
So that's why this really was so easy to get wrapped up into and do it. Because the stories are so good, and this is gonna be something, not just for him, but his kids, his grandkids.
What a
for sure.
legacy to leave.
And to think that somebody would say, like Gene saying, hell, I can't even get across the parking lot.
Yeah,
And
you
here's-
walk across state.
You brought across the street. Well, that's inspirational.
Yeah, very.
So anyway, next Monday, for those of you who are coming to the social, you'll get to see it. And I hope you enjoy it.
So,
We will.
have you seen the whole thing a few times?
Tell them about yesterday, showing it to your family.
Saw it yesterday. And it was emotional for me again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew what was coming, but it just
Kevin's pretty good, huh?
very good.
And you are too.
Well, I owe that to Toastmasters and the National Speakers Association. I was a member of both. and I-
Oh, it shows.
It definitely shows.
Good.
Yeah.
We have 2 slots open for Monday.
Lynn told everybody, so you know what I'll do is I'll send out a quick, you gotta know by what time today.
As soon as possible.
Okay. Well, then I guess it won't be in my summary.
The count went in this morning,
Okay,
but they always make a few extras, so 2 is not a problem.
okay. Yes, sir.
Danny, we can't make the dinner. It's okay if we come in afterwards and watch the video, or is that limited?
Well, the problem is the seating capacity. We're at seating capacity for the auditorium, but
You'll see this on YouTube.
you'll be on YouTube soon thereafter.
Okay.
And I'll probably do Showtime or Travelog or something. They'll let it go that long.
Travelog would be good.
Travelog would be perfect.
And the Travel Club has asked me to present it in January. That's the first time they had an opening. They wanted me to speak and I said, I got this one. And they said, we'll take it. So January, but you'll see it on YouTube before then.
Good job.
Good, you did a good job.
Good job.
Ah,
But I think the dinner, you're gonna hear a lot about what we've accomplished, and it's not just gonna be a dinner, it's gonna be a social. And I'm gonna give a report about what the club's done in the last couple of years. Thanks to all the help we have, the members and the volunteers.
And it's BYOB too, so bring an adult beverage.
Yeah.
Because I know I will. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Does anybody have anything else for today? So we'll meet again next week, which is great. I'll be here. Todd should be back, I think. And other than that.
Everybody needs to start planning your summer project.
Well, yeah, I would say that we definitely need to start working on some videos to share, so. Otherwise, we're gonna have a BYOB next Monday morning. I'll bring them a How's that?
Yes.
All right, well, let's say goodbye to Zoom and then we are out of here. Goodbye, everybody. See you next week.